Anna Nicole Smith. She's the topic of today's mock session. I tried to see if there was something that could link them both psychologically, and I found the father figure. Anna Nicole never knew who her father was, and the same was true for Marilyn. How similar can someone's life be to another person, especially when they have the same type of psychological issue? In this case, I'm going to talk about Anna Nicole Smith and compare her life to Marilyn Monroe's life. She lived and died like Marilyn, either consciously or unconsciously. She was a model and actress. She made herself look like Marilyn. She dressed like Marilyn. And she even created stories, life stories that were tragic and sad to look like her. She told her mother telling bad, sad stories made more money than telling good stories, because she was always telling stories, bad stories about her mother, telling that she was poor, telling that she was beaten up. And her mother was a policewoman. Her mother went on camera and her mother said, we were never poor, we had a good house.
Vicky told people that my mom abused her. She did not abuse her. My mother was a very sweet, loving person.
The only person that I ever remember coming to her rescue was her mother, over and over and over. There were times that we got out of a lot of trouble because of Virgie. If she had not been in law enforcement, we would have been in prison a couple times, you know?
Even though she didn't have that horrible life Marilyn Monroe had, she had something in common with Marilyn. They both never knew who their fathers were. Not knowing, not having a connection with a father gives symptoms that are very clear. Both of them had the same symptoms. And what were they? The search for money, wanting money. Her goal was to have money. There's a clip where she's singing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. She was very controversial when she was 24 years old and married a 90-year-old oil tycoon. But the problem with this disconnect with the father figure is, one, always looking for the father in the man you meet. You are going to find there are characteristics of this father in other men and in the men you're going to meet. Usually, we also look for someone who express a part of us that we don't want to deal with. But in this case, not having the father figure means that I will have problems making money. And if I make money, I can even make a lot of money, I'm going to spend a lot more than I make. And this is the case here. She made millions and she lost more than what she made. She was always having financial difficulties, even though she married an oil tycoon, a billionaire. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you are going to find a way to destroy all that through alcohol and drugs. It is exactly what happened to both of these women.
It's very clear on that reality show that she is high as a kite a good deal of the time.
I think it's like a Mexican type.
Yeah, like Spanish?
Like a cannabana, is that what you call it?
What types of drugs? Sleeping pills, alcohol, cocaine, all of them taken by these two women. They both died in the same way. The only difference in between both is that Anna Nicole had children and Marilyn never had. But the reason she mentioned for having a child was that she didn't want to feel lonely. So again, trying to fill this hole of this father who is not there and never been with drugs, with money, with work is not going to be enough. You cannot replace the Father who is in you with anything else. You can either accept this Father as He is, accepting the situation as it happened, making peace with the situation as it is. You're going to be making peace with yourself. That is the best solution. Make peace with what is. Yes, my Father was not there. I've never seen Him, but He's in me, and it's enough. I am grateful that I was able to have this life, and He was the one who gave me the life that I have. So that is enough. I have this life. I am grateful for it, and I accept as it is. This is how we become whole, and we make peace with ourselves. Otherwise, we're always going to be fighting this impossible war within ourselves. And in this case, even though Anna Nicole hired a private detective to find her father, and he did find this father, she met him and also met a brother. He had a son as well for a couple of days. Apparently, she was the happiest ever.
What did you say with the very first time when you called him up?
I don't remember. I was shaking. I was very emotional. I was trying not to cry because I had makeup on. I was going,
And what was your father's reaction?
He was so happy.
This father suddenly disappeared and was never seen again. It looked like after he disappeared again, she started going down, becoming addicted to pills. Later we find out through this brother that the father, somebody he was always afraid of, he called his father a monster. He said the father had raped a child and told stories, horrible stories about him. We don't know anything. Everything that I'm telling you here is from a documentary that I've seen and a little research that I did as well. But there's nothing really more than that about this father disappearance or his life. And the fact that he disappeared and her life went down again tells we cannot create expectations and wanting them to fulfill that fantasy that we have about them and how they should be. Because the ones who are going to be suffering are ourselves. If we keep denying the existence of the parent or keeping this non-acceptance of what is, we're just going to be pushing down, and that is going to come up stronger than ever. We're going to numb ourselves, in this case, because it's the father with drugs, alcohol, lack of money, lack of career. So I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, consider subscribing to this channel. Share it with people that you think you might be able to help as well.